Welcome, one and all. Today, we venture out into the wilderness of the mysterious island of Fortnite to witness how the wildlife interact with one another. Since the first settlers arrived on this island, there's quite little we truly understand. Similar to the myths surrounding the city of Atlantis, this island seems to undergo periodic changes of varying proportions. Some have barely noticed anything is altered aside from a few objects spontaneously spawning in, whereas others have had to evacuate the island due to major landmass alterations. These massive alterations only seem to occur roughly 4 times a year, but when completed, there is an abundance of wildlife, new and old, that desire its exploration and unlock its many mysteries. Oh no, this island is not designed to be a vacation, for it is an isolated war zone that exists in the furthest reaches of the common world. Populated with as much weapons of destruction as wildlife, there is seldom a quiet moment where one can catch a relaxing moment to themselves. Rumors arose as to how these weapons have arrived on the island. Perhaps a hidden organization delivers the vast amounts of chests with supplies, or maybe a lucrative entity does so. But it is of the least concern to the inhabitants of the island as they fulfill their apparent need for bloodlust. It's unknown what keeps these ferocious individuals localized and locked into this sole landmass, perhaps for the best. Or perhaps there is a larger force compelling them to stay and fight, a more sinister plan with a lucrative motive. There is one notable fact that has to be addressed. This island does not exhibit normal geological properties. It is centered around and contains an energy source called the 0 point, although sometimes that energy leaks and radiates outward, and with it comes physics-defying teleportation portals. This island also doesn't want any inhabitant to suffer from a permanent death, so reanimates those that meet their untimely demise and regenerates it back to a save point, commonly referred to as the Spawn Island, before being transported back on a graffitied bus that hovers over the island and is solely powered by none other than a mere hot air balloon. The island's creatures exhibit regular signs of aggression and general curiosity, with little or no regard to their safety and well-being. Some are highly intelligent and outwit their opponents with great ease, whereas others perform less than satisfactory and are naturally weeded out as time passes. One such individual creature to note is the one scientists refer to as the infamous Crazy Tens. How he arrived on the island of Fortnite is unknown, but many have spotted him roaming around many different areas of the island, causing all sorts of destruction. Due to his fortitude and resistance, Crazy Tens can survive within any biome regardless of temperature and can absorb any exuberant amount of damage. One thing that Crazy Tens does often is constantly alter his appearance. Where once he resembled that of an armored giant, he is now a frustrated workaholic that desperately requires a break and went rogue. He constantly dares to challenge any other creature he faces, although instances arise where he knows not to press fate. However, Crazy Tens is nothing if not a risk taker. He may fall victim to poor accuracy when asserting his dominance, but through failure comes success, and Crazy Tens seeks to do just that. Crazy Tens has a high rate of survival until the very end of the match, and is very tactical about eliminating threats to his well-being, but may sometimes be unable to pull off the W, with only a couple instances of that occurring. It looks like Crazy Tens has an angle and never mind. Well, that's unfortunate. Let us now turn to and watch one of these matches in its entirety from Crazy Tens' perspective. Soaring high above the clouds, Crazy Tens is transported within the battle bus to the revered island of Fortnite and must quickly decide on where he will land to begin his perilous adventure. As to where that might be, he must also consider key factors such as the terrain, vantage points, gear, coverage, and most of all, hostiles. It appears he has settled on Pleasant Park. He deploys his glider and begins to hunt for his inventory. Pleasant Park is not like any park you or I may venture to any given day. It serves as a privatized military site, with only the most fearless daring to take what treasures it holds for themselves. Crazy Tens arrives at the park's sole gas station. Quickly grabbing what he could, he soon encounters his first enemy. Methodically avoiding the explosive gas pumps and carefully avoiding unnecessary damage, Crazy Tens strategically repositions himself until he is able to eliminate the first threat, with none other than a motorized vehicle. Taking their SMG as a souvenir of their defeat, Crazy Tens continues to check the basement of the nearest house for more weapons, if not more ammunition. He proves himself wise by not immediately consuming the shield potion and deciding to hold on to it until he finds a shrouded small shield potion, as many before him found it rare to come into possession of this vital resource and have been unlucky when they choose not to wait. Crazy Tens makes his way below the park and enters a private military's encampment, hoping to find excellently crafted weapons and supplies, but appears an adversary has had the same idea as they begin to duel, and deal a fair amount of damage back. Frantically jumping in circles, hoping the challenge cannot land the final blow, Crazy Tens is able to lay them to rest and alter his appearance to deter any suspicion by other foes in the area. Crazy Tens goes on to examine the rest of the encampment and prepares to move out to a different area as a storm begins to close in on the island. By great luck, he finds and uses a medical kit to satiate any injuries previously sustained. The mystical barrier zone, commonly regarded as a storm by the island's inhabitants, is exactly what it sounds like. It is a natural phenomenon that soon forms shortly after everyone has left the safety of the battle bus and lands on the island. Though no one knows what the barrier is made of that depletes your health, one can only assume that the toxic chemicals in the air are highly lethal and worsens as time progresses. With the recent delivery of varying vehicles, many enjoy the benefits of traveling place to place in these modified automobiles. Crazy Ten sweeps the area one final time before spotting his next victim. A quick fender tap and a spray of bullets sends that player back to the spawn island where he hopes to never be in contact with Crazy Tens again. He jumps into another car and begins on an excursion for sights unseen and new prey to feed on. After countless minutes driving around the vast island, it becomes prudent that he must refill his vehicle's gas tank. And thanks to the great economy of the island, it doesn't cost its occupants to use. He carefully parks the vehicle, checks the complimentary icebox for a quick snack, and pumps the petroleum into the tank until it is completely full. The journey continues on for our lone survivor. Through the hills and roads, Crazy Tens travels with no true destination in mind, but knows that as long as he is within the storm's barrier, he is relatively fine. The resilience of these vehicles are quite extraordinary, for they are designed to withstand so much damage and still remain fully functional. Crazy Tens is met by a supply drop, sent down from beyond the barrier and with no indication by who. But little does he care, for the values of its contents are what truly matter. Now outfitted with an assault rifle, pump shotgun, an SMG, a suppressed sniper rifle, and 3 shield potions, Crazy Tens is well prepared to prove to those who remain why he is a force to be reckoned with. From the muddy waters of Slurpy Swamp comes a new foe. Perhaps this individual is confused or misinformed as to what is needed of them to do, for they decide to accompany Crazy Tens as his passenger rather than open fire. This is a risky tactic, for the driver at any moment can exit the vehicle and fire upon the passenger, yet the passenger can take the opportunity to commandeer the vehicle and leave the player in their wake. For that is exactly what happens next, and by great luck, Crazy Tens is able to hop into the truck before being completely ambushed by a different player. Unfortunately for the aggressor, they soon regret the decision when they are pushed down the hill by the front end of a semi-truck. Crazy Tens gives a courteous honk before executing his finisher move, shotgun to the face. A brief resupply and he's back to the hunt. He unexpectedly runs into a group of 3 players attempting to eliminate each other, so he decides to do the job for them. They go down one after the other and we are left with 18 enemies at large. Finding solace on the road, Crazy Tens traverses the unsteady roads and cruises straight into an enemy with an astounding weapon, the shockwave launcher. Though it deals no damage, it can send you a great distance from your current one in a pinch. However, if Crazy Tens gets hit with a shockwave in this area, his chances of being sent into a ditch or ravine are high, and with the enemy having the high ground, there would be little protection for Crazy Tens. He safely avoids the shockwaves and manages to flee the area unscathed, back to the factory of Slurpy Swamp and into a new semi-truck. Like clockwork, Crazy Tens finds his next target, hits them off the road, and delivers a fatal blow. Again, Crazy Tens is unfortunately face to face with the Shockwave Grenader, and again retreats to the factory to contemplate a strategic attack plan to remove this player and acquire a 3rd semi-truck. By pure chance, it appears someone else has done the favor for him, but as a few bullets ricochet off his vehicle, Crazy Tens looks down his sniper rifle's sights below to find no one there, both relaxing and alarming for the seconds of silence that pass. Finding a nearby bush, he waits and rests as he looks to find a player unsuspectingly approach nearby. The distant sounds of a sniper rifle pique his interest, and he moves cautiously to the cliff facing the ocean. With a stealthy position near the edge and open ears to hear any nearby player's footsteps, Crazy Tens lands each shot with the final one being a headshot. He declares the hill's edge as the place to be his last stand and watches the surroundings for the slightest of movement, as well as watching the storm get closer and closer. The small bush merits no true protection, but the pile of boulders to his left does the trick. He hears the breeze rush by his face, Behind him is now a stink bomb. He quietly crouches to the right of the boulder attempting to flank the player, but is spotted and has to fight head-on. He empties nearly all of his loaded shotgun shells and gets the job done without a scratch. Crouched and safe behind the wall of boulders, Crazy Tens reloads his weapon and hears the roar of an engine. He enters the car, and immediately the driver exits with a minigun aimed directly at the car. Crazy Tens hops into the driver's seat, speeds away to a safe spot, and then turns back to face the last remaining enemy. He does what he does best. Use the car as a battering ram, pulls out his trusty tactical shotgun, and sends the enemy to the lobby. As a victor is crowned, Crazy Tens performs a ceremonial ritual of the gritty as the player dematerializes from the island, proving that being the best is as daunting a challenge as it is rewarding. Till next time, take care, be fair, and don't forget to breathe some fresh air.